Brian. Welcome into Getting Help from Uncle Sam. Well, the election is a couple of weeks away, and we've decided to do on this show, as you well know, is devoted to having the chairpersons of both the Republican and the Democratic Party come on and just give us a little bit of a peek under the tent as to the platforms of their party. We're very happy today to have our good buddy Nancy Worley. So good to see you.
Good to see you.
And you are the chairperson of the Alabama Democratic Party.
Yes.
And, as I said on the intro here, Nancy, what we want to do today is we start to hear the thing that there maybe not be a dime's worth of difference between political parties anymore. So we want to see if there are some differences. And then the other thing we want to get across today is our viewers are older people, been around a while. And they are not, because we see it day in and day out, they're not real happy with the direction of our country. It's just, for whatever reason, they don't feel that let's get up and go. So, basically, let's start with the economy and your views on the economy and the Democratic view on the economy.
Well, obviously, we all want the economy to grow. We all want business to succeed. We all want everybody to have a job in this country. As we know, when the last administration left, we were literally on the verge of a depression. And so I think President Barack Obama has done a phenomenal job in bringing us out of the brink of depression. He started out with a Congress that helped to pass an act that would help the economy, that would pour money into the states. And I know Alabama got lots of those federal dollars, so did every other state, and that provided jobs, and that helped to grow the economy, helped to give the car industry the boost it needed, because it was about to literally dissolve in this country. And so I think what we've seen is an economy that was literally on the brink of depression, that has grown as a result of a president who came in with that goal, and that was to bring us out of that almost depression and to see us grow our economy. I think for the first time in this country, we've created literally hundreds of thousands of jobs. We have people who are insured in those jobs. We have people who are insured who are not working right now for one reason or another, whether they're disabled or not. We have people who are doing better financially, maybe not as well as they'd like to do, but I think we've seen our economy improve, and I think with the presidency of Hillary Clinton, we'll see it get even better.
But basically from a standpoint of just platforms, because we really don't want to get too much into saying this is a Hillary or a Trump thing, as much as, because we want our viewers to really look at the parties and let them say, okay, because obviously when a person decides, yes, I'm going to be a Democrat, they should say, okay, what does the Democratic Party really mean? And then if I'm going to sign on, that means I should be voting the tenets of the Democratic Party. So again, from the economic standpoint, middle-class America is stagnant. And we look at the wages and the earnings, they're not as good as they were maybe 25 years ago. They're just, we're stagnant for some reason. I think one reason is taxation.
Well, as you well remember, in the Bush years, there were significant tax cuts. Unfortunately, sometimes when you have tax cuts, that means you cut back on services. That also means you cut back on jobs. And so when people don't have jobs, the economy grows very stagnant. And I think we've seen that as a result of high unemployment. And again, that has improved in the last 6 years. The one thing we can say about the Obama presidency is that the economy has improved from his predecessor's term. And as we all know, the economic cycle goes up and down for one reason or another. But we have improved, again, not to the extent that people would like, but every time you have tax cuts, you have to have a cut in services somewhere. I mean, it might be in Medicaid, it might be in Medicare, it might be in Social Security, it could be anywhere. That if you say the viewers today are going to be older, then
Yes.
And I'm one of those.
We're all in that boat.
We all are.
I'm one of those who wants my Social Security to be sound, and therefore I want the budget to include plenty of money for that. I'm one of those who wants Medicare to exist and provide the health care that it does for seniors. I want Medicaid to be well funded,
Right.
because it too provides for people who don't have significant funds to pay for their health care independently. So I'm very much in favor of tax cuts, but you better look at tax cuts very seriously, because every time there's a tax cut, there's a cutback in services, and I think that's what we've seen, and I think that's what we want to make sure. At least the Democratic platform says we don't need to cut taxes unless we have a way of keeping those services and paying for them.
Well, you know, again, the viewers that are watching this show, they keep saying, okay, yeah, we're seeing taxes really not going down that much, but it's getting offset with regulations and fees, and you know yourself that if you go and get a driver's license, this license, that license, all these fees continue to increase. Like it or not, that's a tax, you know, basically.
Well, many of the fees, of course, that you're referring to are a result of our state legislature.
Right.
You know, they pass quite a few fee increases, like our driver's license. I don't think the federal government has anything to do
Right.
with the driver's license fee or many of the other fees. When you talk about regulation, yes, we all are concerned about over-regulating anything. But as we look at regulation, sometimes it's very necessary to have strong regulations by the government, because, for example, people are paying more for gasoline in Shelby County North and in some of our sister states to the east and northeast right now because of a broken pipeline that had literally been in the ground for over 30 years, I understand. And you know, when you look at that, should there have been some regulation as to the inspection of that pipeline, and was it made of materials that were going to corrode after
Right.
so many years? I think that's when we look at regulation and say, you know, maybe some regulation is good, and sometimes people say, oh, we're over-regulated, but that is also helpful. I mean, I'm one of those who wants my meat inspected.
Sure.
You know, we were just talking about that before the show today, that quality of meat. And I want regulation in that industry. I want to make sure that when I go to the pump, or you know, when I buy things, that
They're gonna be what it's
that
supposed to
they're
be.
labeled properly. I think regulation is good. I think we all have a tendency to complain about regulation, but much of it is quite helpful to us as individuals.
You know, when we look at something like abortion, right to life, because a lot of our viewers, we end every one of our shows with a thing called reflection. So we bring on different ministers. We've got 13 or 14 different ministers. Every one of them to a T will say that abortion is wrong. But yet, and we see people on the national basis that are politicians, that are quote unquote Christians or Catholics, because I'm Catholic, so I can pick on the Catholics and I don't mind it, that are saying, well, yeah, well, we'll let that abortion rule go. Is that a part of the platform too?
Well, the Democratic
When you
platform,
look at the national platform now, right?
the Democratic platform says that it is a woman's right to make her health decisions.
Right.
It should not be made by a body of Congress people or legislators to determine what your health decisions are. I mean, you know, in terms of men, there could be procedures that you could have that
Right.
would keep you from producing children. But no one has ever brought that up in Congress or in the state legislature that I know of. But they always bring up the idea of women and abortions. And of course, I say if you're going to regulate one, regulate the other one, because
Make them go
takes
both ways.
two. That's right.
That's right.
But actually, women should make health decisions, and if it has to do with reproductive choice, then I think that is a woman's decision. And if she wants to make that decision in consultation with her doctor, with her husband, with her family, I think that's what she should do.
That'd be the way to do it. Well, Nancy, we thank you for being here. And our viewers, if they want to get more information about the Democratic Party and its platform, is there a website or someplace they can go, or just call your office?
Well, they're welcome to call our office
Good.
here in Montgomery.
And we'll get that number put up there.
That number is 334-262-2221.
I know that.
That's easy. That's
Yeah.
an
Lots of
easy one.
twos. But they certainly can go on our website, which is aldemocrats
Okay.
.org.
Good. And thank you so much. And just remember, the election is 2 weeks away. Do your homework, know what you think, and find out the party that's going to suit you the best. We'll be right back right after this.